Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Amen. Amen. So it's Father's Day today. But as a father myself, I don't really expect much thing from my wife or from my kid actually. But surprisingly, they prepared a gift for me, so I was very uplifting. I was very happy. But there's one thing that I want my kids, Siwa and CL, is that I want them to respect me and my wife so that they learn how to honor God and be blessed for their own sake. Hey kids, can you give me a hug and give me a happy Father's Day?
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day. I'm
Yeah.
so tired.
And why don't you give the little Father's Day goodies to all the fathers in our churches and say Happy Father's Day. So let me start with a little trivia question. So what day of the year are the most phone calls made? Mother's Day. Yeah. It seems that on the Mother's Day, everyone wants to check on their mother and wants to call home. But what about Father's Day? What Father's Day is famous for? Is collect calls. And these calls are most likely to be longer than average. Yeah. So, according to the British Council survey in 2004, more than 40,000 people in 102 non-English speaking nations picked this word, the most beautiful word in English language. It is mother. The first response that I had was, what about father? What about father? And my friend told me this question, this statistics, and he told me, actually, the list goes to the 70s, but father is not in those 70s. Aww. If you've ever been to a store to buy some Mother's Day gift cards, you probably saw some cards, that was about selflessness, nurturing, and caring, like love hearts, and family together, etc. But when you look at ones available for fathers, is about you getting booze cards or some joke cards involving like monkeys or fart. Happy Father's Day? It's kind of hard to find a card to show your appreciation to someone who has inspired and guided and encouraged you for your whole life. Billy Graham once said, a good father is one of the most unsung and unpraised, unnoticed, and yet one of the most valuable assets in our society. This can be more true. Today, I want to say thank you to all the fathers in our church for your hard work and your sacrifice for your family. Yep, me too. The father and mother, both are most important people on earth. Because parents are the role models of God's authority. To a child, parents are the image of God. We grow up learning God's character from our own parents. Love and caring from mother, and obeying and authority and boundary from father. And we learn how to honor and obey God by honoring and obeying our own parents. And Bible says it pleases the Lord. Therefore, He promises blessing. Today I want to talk about the importance of respecting our parents, because it is about respecting your God. And God wants to bless us by us keeping this commandment. Respect your parent just as you respect your God, so He can bless you. Again, respect your parents as you respect your God, so your God can bless you. After 430 years of slavery, God delivered people of Israel from Egypt and claimed them as His own people. That's the context of these 10 commandments. So I heard this story about Korean independence. Many people think that after 40 years of Japanese occupancy, on the day of liberation of Korea, which is March 1st, we tend to think that all the Koreans gushed out to the streets and hailed and cheered the independence like what is happening in Hong Kong right now. But what really happened was lay people couldn't even believe their liberation. Some Koreans even cried because they thought they were Japanese, but they lost the war. Think about this. It was 40 years. But the Israelites were slaves for 430 years. More than 10 times longer. I mean, basically they were 100% Egyptians. Their mindset, ins and outs, everything, Egyptian. So when God brought them out of Egypt, He really had to change their mindset, because they are not God's people. They're Egyptians. You have heard the story. He tested them with water, with food, and war. And today, God gave them 10 commandments. This is like a new constitution for this brand new country that God founded by His own hand. Can you feel the importance of these 10 commandments? This is the foundation of foundation that identifies who Israelite is. And this is the supreme law above any other laws that never changes. And in there, God put this commandment. Honor your father and your mother. The importance of this commandment is very clear. The first commandment of the fourth are about loving and honoring God. Number 1, no other gods but me. Number 2, no idols. Number 3, no misuse of God's name. Number 4, remember and keep Sabbath. And the 5th to the 10th is about loving others. And the very first of that list is this one. Respect your father and your mother. Let us read Exodus 20:12 one more time again, all together. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. When I was little, I was a good boy. I listened to my mom. Yeah, it's kind of itchy to say I was a good boy, but I listened to my mom and dad because they knew everything. They are so big. They're like Superman or Wonder Woman to me. My dad was a great problem solver. I still remember once I had this little toy robot model kit that I need to assemble. And one of the parts, I believe it was the arm parts, was faulty. So I couldn't really put them all together in one piece. So I brought that to my dad, and he tried it, but it didn't really work. So he put some heat with a lighter fire and put under the parts carefully and made it a little soft. And then he fix the faulty parts and put them all together. My eyes, there was like a miracle. Like, wow, that moment. But as I grew older, those moments, I no longer, wow, my dad. No, rather, more and more of, never mind that, I figured it out. Ah, don't you worry, Mom, I got it, I'm good. I listened to them, but I wasn't really listening to them. Their wisdom or their opinion didn't really matter to me anymore. Because I thought I knew better until I grew up. I think that happened to many of us actually. As we grow old and as we have a big head, our reverence to our parents gets lighter and thinner. However, the Hebrew word for honor in today's scripture means give weight to, in the sense of taking someone seriously or giving someone priority. And this verb is used with both parents and God as its object. So it's not just a word that only used for same people, person, but this is the word that is used also to God. So this honoring is quite serious. This honoring our parents is a form of honoring of all authority, including God. Tim Keller said, it's respect for parents that is the basis for every other kind of respect and every kind of authority. Therefore, honoring parents is about honoring God. That is why God puts so much emphasis on this fifth commandment. Okay, so far we've been talking about why this commandment is so important. Then how can we practically honor our parents? And how can we even honor our parents if they already are in heaven with God? Or how can we honor a parent who was abusive or even absent? Well, the first and maybe the most important way we can honor our parents is to forgive them. We all know that there are no perfect parents. Yes, parents are the image of God, so they should have shown you God's character. But we all are sinners. That means parents are too. All parents have fallen, and they have sinned against God and us. It could be big time, it could be small time, but they left us wounds in our hearts. And it's hard. It is hard. I saw some people so deeply wounded by their parents. They can't get past what their parents have done to them. And watching them struggling in their lives is a tragedy. But we are believers of forgiving Savior. I know it may sound impossible, but forgiving your parents, and it will set you free. It's for them, yes, but more for you. Free from not only the bitterness and anger, but also from the cycle of sin that your parents unexpectedly. So I urge you, we can honor our parents by forgiving them, because we first are forgiven by God. Another way to honor our parents is to speak well of them, not speaking evil of them. If you have great parents, this one might be easy for you. But for some, this one may also seem pretty hard. Because when you think about your parents, maybe there's nothing good comes out of your mouth. Nevertheless, God warned us in Exodus 21:17 that whoever curses his father or his mother shall be put to death. This is very serious. This is the same degree of punishment of murder or slave trade. Unfortunately, it doesn't mention you can speak evil of your parents if they were horrible parents. I know it sounds unfair, but it seems we owe, no matter what, respect and honor to our parents. Speak well of them. If you have a chance, give them credit for good things in your life. Like, everything I know about fishing, I learned from my father. You know, this is the book our Ellen, who usually sit right over there, wrote for his daughter. This is a compilation of letters that he wrote when his daughter went to college. This book is filled with wisdom and encouragement. Your parents may not have to write a book like this, but you know that they taught you how to live because they are in you. Honor your parents by speaking well of them and refuse to speak evil. Another way to honor our parents is supporting them with love and care. Last Friday after the prayer meeting, yes, by the way, we do have prayer meeting on Friday morning at 10 o'clock, so I want to invite you all to the prayer meeting. Anyway, so after the prayer meeting, I told everyone that my parents might be able to come and visit us in July. See? Prayer meeting. You're not going to miss these informations. So, and Suni told me that I should grab my mom's hand and speak nicely to her. Because my mom must be proud of me and miss me so much. You know, but my immediate response was, okay. Maybe not like really holding her hands, but I can say some nice things to her if she comes. But as I prepared this sermon, it kept bugging me. And it actually reminded me how I treated my mother. You know, she called me many times. You know, sometimes the call lasts an hour, hour and a half. You know, she wants to talk to me, what's happening to her. But, you know, I got tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing, internet searching while I'm listening. It's on speakerphone, Yeah, I felt bad. And I was such a bad son. I felt so sorry for my mom for not really being available to her. Speaking of which, yes, we honor our parents by supporting them with love and care. Just as they cared for us, we should care for them too. Last but not least, we honor our parents by providing them financially. In 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." This is a pretty strong statement, actually. In Matthew, Jesus even rebuked harshly of the Pharisees when they used God as an excuse for not taking responsibility for their parents. But on the other hand, Jesus himself, even from the cross, he made sure his mother was cared. So he asked his closest disciple, John, to be like a son to her in his absence. American culture, it doesn't promote this. Elderly person was left out of the picture, and they were no longer seen as a useful member of a society. But God clearly commands us today that honoring your parents is providing them financially. You may feel it is just too much. Just one verse. Why there's so many things out of this one verse? It feels there are too much responsibilities and burdens from out of just one verse. But I want you to remember, this is not only about duty and keeping the commandments. Paul mentioned in Ephesians 6:2 that this is the first commandment with a promise. What is the promise? That your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Amen. Amen. Have you noticed that this is the only positive and active command, while all the other people commandments are negative? Don't do this. Don't murder, don't commit adultery, don't steal, or don't false witness, don't envy or covet others. Other commandments are pretty passive. You can keep it by not doing any of those. But these commandments, you have to actively do and honor, keep this commandment. God wants you to have this blessing. This is not just a duty. This is actually a promise from God that He wants to bless you. And all you need to do is honoring your God by honoring your parents. Because you can't respect invisible God while you don't respect your visible parents. Therefore, respect your parents as you respect your God, so He can bless you. Father and mother are a gift from God. They are the reflection of God Himself, an example of His character. Through our parents, we got our lives. They are the source of our life. Just like God is the ultimate source of every life. By honoring our parents, we learn how to honor our God. Since it pleases God, it promises His blessing. My brothers and sisters, this is God's commandment. Respect parents as you respect God. He can bless you. Honor, respect, forgive, support, and provide. Respect your parents.